Let's look at another cautionary tale around performing data science. So in 2014, Princeton University researchers published a paper titled Epidemiological Modeling of Online Social Network Dynamics. And the paper made quite a splash because the last sentence of the abstract was, quote, extrapolating the best fit model into the future predicts a rapid decline in Facebook activity in the next few years. Wow. They're predicting that Facebook as we know it won't exist anymore in just a few years. Well, how did they come to this conclusion? They looked at Google Trends searches for MySpace. And here on the left, you see two different graphs showing the results of the prevalence of Google Trends searches over time. And you can see that there's a peak in 2008, followed by a decline in the searches. They fitted two different models to this decline, and then repeated that same process with Google Trends searches for Facebook. So here you see the trends peak in 2012, followed by a decline. They used that to then apply the same model that they had derived for MySpace to predict the future number of trends for Facebook. And they arrive at the conclusion that since there are going to be no more searches for Facebook in just a few years, there'll be no more Facebook in just a few years. So the Facebook researchers saw this, and they had to respond, of course, firmly tongue-in-cheek. And they put up the following blog post with the following conclusion, which is, in keeping with the scientific principle correlation equals causation, our research unequivocally demonstrated that Princeton may be in danger of disappearing entirely. So how did they arrive at this conclusion? They looked at the proportion of total page likes for Princeton, Harvard, and Yale. In the graph on the bottom, we can see that there's a steady increase in total page likes for Yale with a slight decrease in 2014. Harvard shows substantial growth up until about 2012, and then there's a declining trend. But Princeton shows a sharp decline from 2009 to 2010, with a slight recovery from 2010 to 2014, and then a slight decline. Looking at the Princeton search trends, they extrapolate that this trend suggests that Princeton will have only half of its current enrollment by 2018, and by 2021, it will have no students at all. Now, of course, since all of this was tongue-in-cheek in terms of their response, they went further. And they say, while we're concerned for Princeton University, we are even more concerned about the fate of the planet because Google Trends for air have also been declining steadily, and our projections show that by the year 2060, there will be no air left at all. And they produce this graph of interest in time over time in air.